Hi, so here's another study of poetry under literature, subject entitled Society and Literature. So the poem is entitled The Colossus by Sylvia Plath. Okay, we are going to analyze this line by line if possible. Alright, so I shall never get you put together entirely, pieced, glued, and properly jointed. This deals with her struggle to reconstruct the memory of her deceased father. Next, mule bray, pig grunt, and baladi cackles proceed from your great lips. It's worse than a barnyard. This one illustrates the confusion resulting from what little she is able to discern about her father. Platt employs irony self-depreciatingly by mocking her devotion to something so incomprehensible. Next, perhaps you consider yourself an oracle, mouthpiece of the dead, or of some god or other. This one tone wavers between lightly accusing and wearied impatient. So she's like impatient. 30 years now I have labored to dredge the silt from your throat. I am none the wiser. These lines wanted to explain her struggle to understand her father. So she doesn't understand her father. Scaling little ladders with glue pots and pails of Lysol, I crawl like an ant in mourning over the weedy acres of your ball to mend the immense skull plates and clear the bald white tumuli of your eyes. This one, Platt details it as the efforts to revive the memory of her father, though the syntax equates his eyes to gravestones, thus the her endeavor. Ironic when considered with lines 3 to 7. So, a blue sky out of the Orestia arcs above us, O Father, all by yourself. You are pithy and historical as the Roman Forum. I open my lunch on a hill of black cypress. Here, the father is likened to the Roman Forum and the setting is likened to Orestia. Both of these illustrations distance the father from Plath. These references to the classical world give the characters a larger-than-life quality. Your fluted bones and acanthine hair are littered, and their old anarchy to the horizon line, it would take more than a lightning stroke to create such a ruin. The lightning stroke here is connected through Greek mythology to divinity. Thus, the line draws attention to the ruined state of Plath's soul caused by her father's death. So, it's talking about the destroyed soul of Plath because of her father's death. So, it's really the effect of the childhood days of Plath. Next, nights I squat in the cornucopia of your left ear out of the wind, counting the red stars and those of plum color. Her residence in the ear of the Colossus draws attention to her desire to communicate with her father through either her lost memory of him or a more literal sense of yearning. So, he really wants to communicate with her father, the deceased father. The sun rises under the pillar of your tongue. My hours are married to shadow. No longer do I listen for the scrape of a keel on the blank stones of the landing. The rising sun contrasts with the following line. Her marriage to shadow evinces her understanding of the fact that she will never understand her father, nor recapture his memory. This argument is completed by the final two lines of the poem that detail her sense of defeat through giving up. It's like the man is personified by a ship that has no place in her marriage to shadow, the shadow of the Colossus. She gives up on normality by not listening for the ship and resigns herself to the marriage to the shadow of her father, and consequently to her own death. So she's already talking about her own death here. So what are the poetic devices? we have metaphor. So statues being mentioned in the poem is being compared to the Father. We have allegory. Okay, so allegory is like beyond symbolism. So this gives emotions to the readers on how they're going to feel on a certain object, on a certain situation, or in a certain figure as part of the piece. So, an allegory is a work of written, oral, or visual expression that uses symbolic figures, objects, and actions to convey truths or generalizations about human conduct or experience. So, it's mentioned there. And then the symbol, okay, or the figure that is being represented as allegory there is the statue again. Okay, so of course we have imagery. The author made use of words that would touch our senses, and then wordplay. Wordplay, also called play on words, is the clever and witty use of words and meaning. So you could already see here from from the poem that the author made use of vocabulary which are really high-ended and produces a sound meaning to the poem. That's it. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe. God bless.